Hey, this is Edwin from Making an Impact, owner of Fox Sound Advertising. I'm going to jump into what this video is all about, how to maximize your cash flow, a proven blueprint for improving your business's financial health in 2023. If you're dealing with cash flow shortages, not able to afford certain bills, going further in debt, unable to invest in growth, everything like that, we're going to talk about some real quick solutions here, three big ones that you can implement right away. And then in a minute, I'll also show you how you can just boost your cash flow by boosting your customer and your lead flow using some free Google ads. Now, before I jump into that, we want to start with, hey, what's going on internally, right? Because as many of my mentors have said, business problems are usually personal problems. And so we're going to kind of telescope out. We're going to start first with a few just personal cash flow strategies you can implement, and then how you can go and take those and implement them in your business. And then, like I said, in a bit, we'll look at like, okay, now how can we just, give you a bigger flow of leads and customers coming in to supercharge all of this. Now, if you're running into issues, yeah, I've surveyed our clients here just recently, and several of them are, running into cash flow shortages. We're kind of in this weird, crazy thing in the pandemic or after the pandemic and everything, with like cash getting injected into the economy. A lot of people are holding on to it, and they're using credit instead of their cash, and it's just weird things like that, where like more and more debts being incurred and stuff like that. And then people are kind of paying Robin Paul to pay Ruben. I actually had a partner. He went bankrupt and ran with all my money I'd invested and hired him to build something for. So kind of still smarting over that one personally. And if you're feeling the same thing, if you're feeling that pressure from the finances and the cash flow, this video is for you. What what happens is, if you don't have this under control, it starts creating stress and anxiety, and we start doing this thing where we check our bank account every day. We pull out our phone and we look at every single day, multiple times throughout the day, and it gets stresses us out. And in an earlier video, I talked about the profit first system. Now, the profit first system totally revolutionizes that, changes that. And one of the first things you can do just to get a better habit of your cash flow and your business cash flow is to get in a flow of just doing your business's budget twice a month, once on the 10th of the month, and then once on the 25th of the month. And if the 25th falls on a Sunday or whatever, then you might do it on the Friday before or the Monday after, that sort of thing. So the 26th or the 23rd, but basically aim for the 10th of the month and the 25th of the month. And what you're going to do when you do this is you're going to this a lot of this comes from two people, and I should probably disclaim, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know if I have to do that, but I'm not a financial advisor. Consult your financial advisor first for any sort of financial advice, et cetera, et cetera. But these are really super simple models that totally changed everything for me. The first one is profit first, and then the other one, you may have heard of this guy, T. Harv Eker. This is more for like on the personal side. So what happens when I sit down and do this budget, or my accountant does it, I break it up into two parts, right? There's the business, and then there's the personal. Okay. And so I take a look at what's going on in the business, and I use the profit first system, Mike Michalowicz' profit first system for the business. And then I use T. Harv Eker's system for the personal part of the budget. And obviously you start up here because this is where the money's coming in from the business, and then you pay yourself a salary, an owner's compensation for being the business owner, and that's what you use here on the personal side. Okay, and so you just do this on the 10th, you do this on the 25th. Now, how you do this, we could get real into the nuts and bolts. Again, I might make another video where I go real in depth on this stuff, but this is just kind of an example, what this would look like. So let's say coming up on the 10th, in 2 days from now, let's say I've got this thing built out, and what happens, if you didn't see before, is Mike Michalowicz, he flips this equation upside down. Rather than saying sales minus expenses equals profit, he says sales minus profit equals expenses. And so the very first thing that you want to do is figure out, okay, what's my real revenue here? What's the real amount of money that's actually come in? And let's take a profit first. And so you can see here in this little equation, I'm going for like, okay, 6% of this I want to keep for profit. This 6%, Eventually I want to aim to see if I can get 7% out for profit, but right now I'm just going to immediately take 6% out as my profit. And don't necessarily pay attention to like this subcontractor stuff up here. It's kind of a little slightly more advanced thing. You can ask me in the comments below about that. But let's just assume, okay, we got $12,000 of taxable income here that's come into the business to work with. Okay, so that's what's come into the business. We're going to immediately take 6% as a profit, and we're going to take that profit and we're going to go put it in a separate bank account, something Mike calls the vault, and you go stick it there, and you are going to stockpile that money. And every quarter, you get to take a profit distribution. Okay, so you're going to take that money, and let's say, over 3 months, you've taken that money. Okay, and it's it's $2,160. So at the end of 3 months, on that on the first day of the next quarter, you're going to take half of whatever you saved up there. Whoops, 2160 times 0.5. You're going to take half of it and just pay that to yourself. Okay, so $1,080. You're just going to go take that. You're going to take it out of there. You're going to pay it to yourself, and you're going to have a profit distribution. And you're going to go spend that money and party and have fun. All right, go do something great. Take your wife or your girlfriend or your husband. Take them out on an amazing date. Take your kids on a quick little vacation. Take them to stay at a water park for a night or something, like whatever. Just go blow that money and have fun, enjoying being a business owner. It's like one of the greatest things ever. It's like my favorite thing that I learned from this profit first model. And it's just, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So go do that. Let me know in the comments below like what you plan on doing like with your first profit distribution now that you've seen the system. Go try it, and let me know like what would you go spend your first profit distribution on. Okay, so once you do that, then you got to make sure you're removing, money for taxes. Again, I'm not giving you any financial advice here. You probably should be keeping 30 to 50% or something crazy. But whatever you keep for taxes, okay, great. You go put that in the bank account and you save it. Don't touch it. Your owner's comp. Okay, so you take 50% of this right here. 50% of 12,000 is 6,000. Okay, I'm gonna go pay myself a salary of 6,000. That pops down here where I drew the line. Okay, so everything up above the line here, this is all the business finances. Everything below the gray line is the personal finances. Okay, so you got half of this goes to the owner for owning the business and for running the show, and et cetera, et cetera. And then whatever you've got left over, 30% or less. Right now you can see in this example it's like at 24%. 24% of this $12,000 is being reserved for expenses. And now this is, again, I'm just throwing out numbers here. Obviously, if we if you're more like a physical location or something like that, maybe this is what you've brought in so far in the first couple of weeks. And so maybe you've got employees, so this needs to be, you're trying to figure out how to, this is where you can reduce a lot of costs basically here. And, maybe at this scale, you're not paying yourself 50% anymore. You may be just paying yourself 30%, and you can, mess around with those numbers all day long. But basically you just want to make sure that you are taking a profit first, and then letting these things all stack up. Taxes, you can't really noodle around with that, but owner's comp and the operating expenses for running your business, you can noodle around with. So super simple there. Then what I like to do is use T. Harv Ecker's model, which is when money comes in, and actually I want to go back to just keeping it easy here. Okay, 17,000. So let's say $70,000 came in. I've taken half of that to pay myself as the business owner. So on the personal side, T. Harv Eker, he says, have 4 jars or 4 buckets, right? And he says, first, you want your financial freedom account, you want your play account, you want your education account, and your gifts account. Now I've gotten a little goofy and I've added a 5th one here. This is for tithing to my church and everything like that. So I just immediately take 10% off, give that to the Lord. And then I also take 10% for financial freedom. And this comes from T. Harv Eker. He recommends if you can do, 10%, 10%, 10%, 5% on these 4 accounts. Again, start somewhere, start with 1%, whatever you got to start with. But this is going to not only improve your business cash flow, but it's going to improve your personal cash flow. And then the rule is this 10% for financial freedom, that's for investing. Okay. That's for investing in, cash flowing real estate or dividends or whatever, to get your financial freedom, right? To buy your time freedom. If you keep stockpiling money there, putting it in real estate, cash flowing assets. And eventually you can just replace your business income over here with your passive income coming from your assets and things like that. The play account, 10%. You want to start increasing your brain's wavelength to where it enjoys money and it has fun with money. And so you go and you take 10% of whatever's coming in and you play with it. So this is happening every 10th and every 25th. So every 10th and 25th, my bank account, my play account gets another, whatever dumped into it that came in, another 10% of whatever's been collected. So immediately right off the top, I get to go, and now I get to go eat at, fancy restaurants and, have fun with friends and go bowling or whatever. I don't know. And that money is for playing. It has to be used for playing. When I use it oftentimes, when I'm going out on a date or something like that. Just enjoy that money. You can obviously also use this money for giving. Like, this is great for when someone's like, hey, you want to go get lunch, and like you can just surprise them and like, yeah, let's get appetizers in the whole 9 yards, and I got it, and we'll take care of it. You feel really fulfilled doing that. And you can see there's a gifts one here too, and this is obviously like, okay, over 12 months you're going to really have saved up a lot for Christmas gifts. You're never going to feel like, oh, not so and so's birthday is coming around the corner and I feel embarrassed and getting them this little dinky thing. Like, okay, no, I got money here to for giving, like, and it's got to be used for giving. Seeing people homeless, like, I can't tell you how many times it's like, okay, great, I've got all this money in this giving account. I can just walk into the grocery store here and get them a gift card to the grocery store, and boom, walk right out and bless them with a few $100s worth of groceries right then and there. It's so having this account totally changes everything on the personal side. And then also too, education. Can't tell you like how nice it is to be able to be like, I can pay cash for this, this high ticket course, or I can pay, my new hobby now. I just love it. Is to walk into Barnes and Noble and just pick off a book from the shelf, and like, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to sweat about it. Like it's there, and I can always just keep investing in my education. And then whatever's left here, that writing there is okay. So we got 65%. So basically, personal expenses here are left over at 65%. So there's like $3,900 there left to live on, and I'm blessed to have some real estate, actually paying for my own house mortgage and stuff like that. So even I'm not like having to pay rent or personally pay for a mortgage. I've got real estate investment paying for that, things like that. But that's basically it in a nutshell. Take care of the business side, take care of the personal side, make sure you're taking a profit from up here and stockpiling that away. Make sure you're taking your financial freedom stuff here to build up like your emergency fund, and then to be able to start building a nest egg for putting in down payment on real estate, or for investing in stocks and dividends, things like that are going to cash flow. And also make sure you're having some fun playing with that money all the time, and you'll be right off to the races. And you can get deeper into this stuff. Maybe I'll do something more advanced on that later. But once you've got that taken care of, obviously it's nice to find that you've got all this free money basically you didn't realize was there, and you get to go, you have to go play with it and spend with it. But what's even better is if you can start increasing this up here, because then it just flows and trickles down. You don't have to be worried, because you're taking care of your taxes every time. But the more that you increase this on the top level, the more fun all this stuff starts to become, and the faster you can start investing in more real estate, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And number one way I'm recommending to everybody right now, if you're a small business owner, local business owner, a B2B business, B2C business, whatever it is, my partner Paul Murphy here, he's got a killer webinar, killer course showing people how to get free Google ads. The advantage to this is that people going on Google, they have a high intent to buy. That's why these little ads are popping up here, right? Someone's paying on Amazon to get these at the top here to make those sales. But in reality, there's a whole nother segment of Google that is totally free advertising, and just tons of traffic all the time. It's crazy. And so that's free traffic, that's free customers coming in. And even if you just get like a small percentage of those trickling in, month one, and then you start building and compounding, because the nice thing about this is you build this asset once, you build one of these ads once, and literally within days, like not even joking, within days, you can be right here on Google, and you start just increasing your sales. You start increasing the leads, the people who are interested in your business. And long term, this is going to start feeding this and trickling down even more and more. So that's what I got for you guys today. Again, let me know down in the comments your first profit distribution. Now that you've seen this, you can't unsee this. You got to go take a profit first from your business. What is it you plan on either buying for yourself or buying for someone else, blessing your family with? Like, what are you going to go and use your first profit distribution on? I want to know down in the comments. And then as always, hit the bell and subscribe, because my next video is going to be on sales closing phrases and how to close more deals with confidence, especially here in 2023. So until next time, I'll see you. Stay awesome.